When did you and LeBron start playing each other and start developing a friendship?
So LeBron is 1 year
Below
younger
you.
than me. So when I get to Oak Hill, Bron and them had beat Oak Hill the previous year. And I'm like, yo, I gotta play against him. Like, it's on the schedule. We gotta make it happen. I knew nothing. I ain't never seen him, none of that. Because back then, he was the pamphlets, right?
Man, we was talking about
you know what I'm
this
saying?
before.
Like,
there's no internet. You didn't know who the motherfucker was till you seen him in the gym.
It was Bob Gibbons' report, you know what I'm saying? So whoever was in that box in the middle,
that's crazy.
whoever was in the box, that was the number one player. So that's who you're going after at that point. So we get the jersey, and we playing in a primetime shootout, and he coming in the hotel, and we coming in the hotel, and he like, yo, you Melo? Like, you know, you Melo? I'm like, yeah. And we sat on the steps. It was All-Star Weekend in Philly, too. So we sat on the steps for hours the night before the game. Like, I don't know nothing about you, dog. You don't know nothing about me. And we sat there for hours just kicking and just talking, man. And we clicked from that moment. You know what I'm saying? We just felt like we had similar backgrounds. You know what I'm saying? You single parent home, broken family, growing up in the hood, you know, that was a similar story. So we connected off of that before basketball.
That's rare you do that. That's rare you, especially with two players being at the top like that. Y'all dug into each other as people.
Absolutely.
Before basketball, so it's easy to understand now y'all relationship. Now.
Yeah, because I was looking for some type of relationship like that with somebody.
Yeah.
And he was looking for that. As well. So we came in each other's lives at the right time. You know what I'm saying? Because we was both looking for, you know, that brotherhood, that brother that we can rely on and talk to. And we had that. That shit clicked right away. So.
In addition to all the moves they've already made, Russ, Dwight Howard, Trevor Ariza, Wayne Ellington, Kent Bazemore, we welcome in ESPN NBA insider Ramona Shelburne, LA native. What are your thoughts on what the Lakers strategy now that we are seeing it pan out?
Well, you know what's amazing, Rach, is I was in the parking lot. Like, this is back when we used to do stakeouts. Remember when free agency was, you staked out the meetings and everybody actually used to have meetings.
Well, that's before everybody constantly IG storied and tweeted where they were at every moment. You don't have to stake any players out now. They'll just tell you.
Yeah. And it was amazing because the Lakers really thought they had a chance with Melo back in 2014. That was a big moment. And they got really close. The only trump card was Phil Jackson was the president of the Knicks back then, and he had the 5th year, and he gave him the whole thing. But they really thought they had a chance at Carmelo Anthony all those years later. And you look at, I mean, that's my favorite expression on the show, I guess, is sliding doors.
Right.
But the sliding doors of Melo's career, of LeBron's career, I like this fit. I like that Melo sort of restarted his career, and he's become a really good three-point shooter. Career high 41% last year. That's what the Lakers need, and their cumulative ages are getting up. Like, he will be there, and to make LeBron not feel old, I guess. Like, he's a little bit older than LeBron here. But look, I love the fact that they got Melo and Malik Monk, and Malik Monk on a minimum.
I was going to say, that is some wizardry, and also kind of speaks to a strategy we were talking about with Chris Bosh yesterday, that when he and LeBron and Dwayne Wade were down in Miami, they were able to be like, hey, come to Miami. Miami's fun. I know you won't be making that much money, but come and be with us. This is going to be a party. And it seems like they are starting to pick up a little bit of that momentum, too. What do you think, Zach?
Look, my big question about the Lakers now is the burden on defense for LeBron, who is still incredible defensively, and Anthony Davis, who we all know is a defensive player of the year candidate, is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, because when you trawl the minimum bin for guys like this, they're older, they're liabilities defensively. But Melo, to Ramona's point, has bought into a spot-up shooting role and been really, really good at it, and he's going to fit well next to LeBron. And Malik Monk, look, he's not going to get the headlines here because this is Carmelo Anthony. This is a top 10 all-time scorer, first ballot Hall of Famer, LeBron's friend from when they were teenagers. It's a huge deal that they're playing together. Malik Monk on the minimum is an incredible get for Rob Pelinka and the Lakers. He had a great year last year, and he's not just a shooter. He can get them moving in transition. He's really fast. We know the Lakers like to play in transition, doubly so with Russ now. They're getting rebounds and rampaging up the court, and he's a really good secondary playmaker. If you're not really good, but he's getting there. If you kick it to Malik Monk on the weak side against the closeout, he can attack it, make the next pass. I think this is a great say. It's not going to get the headlines, but this is a great signing for the Lakers.
Brooke, I'm curious what you think the on-court fit with Melo, with LeBron, AD, and just all these new pieces, because it's great to make wholesale changes to your roster if you think you're improving it. But as you see on that graphic we just showed, Perk, it's a lot of guys going out and a lot of new guys coming in, and you're going to need to sort of reset your culture just by definition of having an almost completely new group, except for 2 or 3 key guys.
Yeah, and I understand that, Rachel, and I would be concerned if it was a young group. But we're talking about a group of veterans, right? Mm-hmm. And a lot of these guys have been to the promised land. A lot of these guys have won championships. LeBron James, Anthony Davis. You're looking at even Trevor Ariza. But when you look at Carmelo Anthony and you look at Russell Westbrook, these guys are starving to win a championship. That's the only thing left for them to complete their legacy, is to win a ring. So sacrificing is not going to be difficult when it comes down to the Los Angeles Lakers. Look, we're watching Space Jam in real life right now. The Lakers have 5 Hall of Famers on their team. 5. Russell Westbrook, Anthony Davis, LeBron James, Carmelo Anthony, and Dwight Howard. And all those guys still could contribute at a very high level on the basketball court. Dwight Howard, to me, is going to be, again, the unsung hero in this situation, in my opinion, because his ability to still protect the basket. He knows how to play alongside Anthony Davis. He's still a lob threat at the basket, one of the most athletic bigs in the game today. So when you look at the other pieces, the shooting that they added around them, watch the hell out.
Yeah, I love this Dwight Howard sign. Re-signing? Yeah, I mean, they missed him last year. That was a calculated decision that they made to go from Marc Gasol in there and let Dwight go and trade JaVale. They missed it, and they missed it against Nikola Jokic. They missed it against DeAndre Ayton, who, by the way, is now a guy that you have to be thinking about how are you going to defend him. And so I think they just looked at what happened last year in the playoffs and said, we gotta get a defensive big who can take that in those matchups against Phoenix, against Utah with Rudy Gobert, and against Denver with Jokic. And I think that's Dwight. He was great in those.
And I think the follow-up question to that is, the more they play Dwight, the more they're going to face the problem of Russ, LeBron, AD, Dwight on the floor at the same time. Is just not a lot of shooting around LeBron. And so that will be interesting to see what it does to their half-court offense. But this team does like to play big. And as much as we want to see Anthony Davis the center, they're going to buy minutes with Dwight at the 5. It's just a matter of how they balance out the rotation, because their shooting has taken a hit. And for 15 years, we've seen LeBron plus shooting is unstoppable.
Yeah. And look, here are some shooting numbers of guys last season. Caldwell Pope, not going to be there anymore. Caruso, not going to be there anymore. McLemore, not signed right now. Kyle Kuzma, not going to be there anymore. So you've got a lot of these guns no longer at your disposal. And the age thing is real, guys. They've got 6 signed players right now, 7 if you count Russ, right, who is on his way. 6 of those 7 are age 32 or older. A chunk of them are over 35. I mean, there is no question this is an older team. And I do think you're right, Perk. Much like we were talking in the last segment about the Olympics, you have a bunch of vet guys. You put them together for long enough, they do eventually figure it out. And the idea of sacrificing to win a championship, that is more real the older you get. It is real that you stop worrying as much about your individual numbers. It is real that you can feel like, well, I've kind of done everything else already. So for a guy like Melo that's looking for his first ring, that is very meaningful in terms of what you are willing to do for the team. But we have been talking so much this past season about injuries. And yes, obviously, all the games stuffed in there because of COVID, all of that kind of stuff has made a difference. But if you look at the actual injury numbers, they're not that far off the previous years. Injuries are frankly a part of professional sports. We don't like them. We don't like talking about them. It capsizes some teams' hopes just when they position themselves right. But you have an older team. You are going to have more injury issues you have to deal with. That is just the facts of life of aging, as everybody involved on this panel can probably tell you. Also a good note, LeBron now the longest tenured LA Laker. 3 years.
Whoa.
Longest tenured on the team.
Whoa.
Coming up, we're going to be talking about a team on the other side of the country, Philadelphia. Ben Simmons.